strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon. That is only the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled trainers should try to win with this giant freaking long neck because he's unbeatable, or at least that's what we're gonna find out. I've seen a lot of talk about Raging Bolt. I've seen a lot of talk about how it's everywhere and how it's so annoying, and I gotta say, I honestly agree. I've never been one to want to use the meta Pokemon. I've always wanted to counter them, but I don't even really know how Raging Bolt works. So I'm gonna use it in today's video. The team I'm going to be using for this video is the team from the Victory Road December Challenge number 2. The winner of that tournament was Jeremy Cote. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. So we're going to be doing 10 battles as a field study to try to understand Raging Bolt better. By the end of this video, I hope we've accomplished the 4 goals that I have set out for myself to gain a deeper understanding of how Raging Bolt functions, when and when not to bring Raging Bolt to a battle, keep track of what Pokemon are threatening or KOing Raging Bolt the most, and finally find potential counters to Raging Bolt and things that I can add to teams or to build around so that I don't have to keep suffering Raging Bolt damage and losses because it's so hard to beat and I just don't know what beats it and I need to find out. So for this video, obviously we're going to be using Pokemon Showdown as it's the easiest way to practice and get teams and to learn them. So we're going to be doing the 10 battles on Pokemon Showdown, keeping track of them in our passers report so we can have all the data and our thoughts in one place. So we're starting off strong, and I'm a moron and forgot to press record on the first battle, but I learned very quickly from the very beginning that Ting Lu and Gouging Fire are such a hard check to this team. I felt like I had nothing, and they just sat on the field the whole time and just snarled and just put this whole team to shame. It was like a real eye-opener right off the bat. It showed me that Raging Bolt isn't invincible, and there are things that can definitely counter it that I just need to keep in mind. We definitely don't want to bring Raging Bolt, and this team especially just in general is like an absolute nightmare if I'm going to try to use a good stuff, standard, balanced Raging Bolt team. Fluttermane Landorus, Rillaboom, and maybe Raging Bolt doesn't even come to a match like this when they have ground, grass, steel, fairy. Maybe this is one where it doesn't even come to the match. Even just after doing one battle, I've already started to learn a lot about Raging Bolt. So obviously I'm seeing that ground types are definitely a no-no. But with this team in particular, I'm seeing a ground type, a redirection, a super effective attacker, and another resist that could also hit me super effectively or snarl me. So even just using a team just for a little bit with a specific goal in mind of how does A Pokemon match up into B Pokemon really does actually make a big difference. So I'm already starting to learn a little bit here. Like rule number 2 that I'm learning so far is that Bolt is not always your win con. There are times when you can bring it and when you shouldn't bring it. And I keep learning that more and more as I keep playing with Raging Bolt with this team specifically. Nice. Let's go. Okay, yeah. So if he tries to switch here, boom, I get Terrain, which means I get to Thunderclap, which means it lives into, oh, it's AV. Thank you. No, wrong one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so, but I think that's pretty much just like game right out of the gate. Just from those 4 battles, I can already tell like people are just leading for Bolt. So it seems like more often than not, you do not want to lead Raging Bolt because whatever they have to beat Raging Bolt, they're probably going to lead it. And so I'm going to test that theory in this lead right here. Okay, so they didn't, I think he's going to, maybe he makes a switch. So I still think we Icy Wind, and he did. He just went for a Spore. He just said F it. So this is interesting. This is the interesting thing, is they left their 2 biggest Raging Bolt counters in the back, and it let my Raging Bolt just do whatever they want. 2, 3, Thunderbolt, perfect. Okay, so I actually made that call. I'm kind of proud that I made that call right. Board Stance, Fake Out. Can he be faked out? Oh, oh my! Oh no! Oh no! Things have just gotten really bad. Oh, wow, I did not expect that. Upper hand to just Oko. Ooh, I'm pretty sure that's just game right off the bat. That sucks. And now it just becomes a war of attrition. I think he wins. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't win. Dude, let's go. Yes! I can't believe I won that. That's actually insane. Oh, wow. Thank goodness. Thank goodness that that's what's happened. That was lucky. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Sick. Cool, I guess. That's awesome. What the freak was that? So now what we can do is we can just pressure thunderclaps from here on out. He's going to be forced to Aqua Jet. If he doesn't, then it's just game over. Okay. The other thing that I'm noticing about these battles is they take a long time. To play teams like this, you got to have like tons of mental fortitude because you have to think about every turn. And this is why I particularly don't enjoy playing good stuffs or balanced teams, is because there's no real set strategy. It's all like on the fly, and you have to be able to like think as you go, and it's really exhausting. So I worked my way through the gauntlet. 10 battles, recording everything that I thought, everything that went through my brain, lessons I was learning, patterns I was seeing. Things started to click at one point. I really thought at one point I was really understanding how Raging Bolt was functioning. I thought I was on a higher plane of existence. I was now seeing into the eyes of my enemy, and I could see what they were seeing, that Raging Bolt is crazy strong, but not invincible, which is the most important thing that I've been learning through this whole experience. And this battle is a great example because by this point, I've kind of learned how this team was built and how it's built to support each other. That's one of the pros about being able to use a team that's balanced or good stuff, is you're able to build a game plan around kind of whatever you want to, and you have the supporting pieces to support whatever Pokemon you want to support. In this battle specifically, Raging Bolt with Snarl with Rillaboom to control the terrain, and Incineroar for the free switch-ins so that I don't get hurt by expanding forces, and to intimidate Urshifu. I'm able to just sit on the field and snarl, and I can just keep rotating, and I have almost zero worry about it. Which, like, the biggest lesson I think, and the last lesson of this video I think, is Bolt is at its best when you create safe turns for it, not when you're just trying to brute force damage your way through teams. When a team is built and it's built right and it supports Raging Bolt correctly, that's what everyone is scared of. After 10 battles, you're probably wondering, what did we learn? And we actually learned quite a bit. You would be surprised how much you can learn just from 10 battles when you're making a deliberate effort of writing down your thoughts about what was tough to beat, what was easy to beat, compositions that are hard. Okay, so let's first talk about what I learned about Raging Bolt, how it functions, when and when not to bring it. Versus teams like the Indeedee and Crown teams with Expanding Force, with the terrain control and Snarl and AV, this Pokemon actually does really, really good into those teams. I was able to bring it pretty confidently, and I was able to have a game plan that felt stable and consistent. I ran into 2 of those teams, and I won both of them using the same strategy. Have Rillaboom in the back to control the terrain, and then just start snarling. And it worked pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the other teams that it felt really, really good against were just kind of like Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Tornadus teams without a whole lot of like back-end offense. Those teams felt actually pretty easy. They even had Amoonguss on some of them. And so I didn't feel threatened at all by the Tornadus, by the Urshifu Rapid Strike. All I had to do was try to take care of the Amoonguss, and that's pretty easy to do with Landorus Eye and the Ogerpon Hearthflame Mask, and with Incineroar, I can take care of Amoonguss, and then I can literally just thunderclap everything to win the game. So let's go over some of the Pokemon that I felt like were actually the hardest for me to beat. So number 1 on my list is Tinglu. This Pokemon can just sit on the field. It snarled me It really slowed down my pressure, and I didn't feel like I had a way that I could get it off the field quickly enough without it at least doing a little bit of damage. Between heavy slams, sand tombs, stomping tantrums, snarls, this Pokemon is very hard to beat. And I would consider it putting on your list of Raging Bolt counters or checks, I guess, because I don't really think it can counter Raging Bolt balance teams indefinitely, but it does check them pretty hard. From that same team, I would also say Gouging Fire. For some reason, Gouging Fire was super hard for me to handle, just because it's bulky, it has breaking swipes, it takes neutral fairy damage, it can be paired next to the Tingloos that I was having. Like that was like a combo that was really hard for me to beat. And so I wasn't quite sure how to handle a Tingloo and a Gouging Fire. So that combo in itself is tough. So maybe if you're struggling and you want to try to do something that counters the metagame, look into like the first team that I battled, because it was really, really strong against this composition. Amoonguss, which can be tough in the rain specifically, because without my fire damage to just one hit and KO it, in the rain it can have a lot more longevity and start putting things to sleep. But if you're asking me what I think is like the ultimate team that beats Raging Bolt, that you just want to decimate any Raging Bolt that you see and have a positive matchup into that, use the first team that I battled in this video, because it was easily the hardest team. I had zero chance. I didn't feel like I had any pressure. I felt just helpless in its clutches, and I'm sure I could have played it a lot better. Even by the end of those 10 games, I had a much deeper understanding of how this team works. So maybe I could have figured out a way to beat it, but with the ability to control the weather, the ability to use Snarl and slow down the special attackers, you had Trick Room with Trevenant, you had Bulk with Dragonite. I think it was just a really, really strong team. So consider looking into a composition like that if you want to try to do a hard counter to a metagame like this. But that would be my biggest recommendation out of this whole video so far. Of what I learned is that composition beats this composition more often than not. So that was all 4 goals that I wanted to complete in this video. And 10 is such a small number, but I think this is a good way to see that even with just 10 battles, if you want to understand a Pokemon and how to potentially beat it, that 10 battles is really all you need to kind of get an idea of what people are using to beat it, how it's used most effectively, and how you can move forward to counter it if you want to. I just want to say I appreciate everybody for sticking around. Make sure you follow the channel, because in video 2, I'm going to be testing some of the teams and Pokemon from this video that I felt countered Raging Bolt, to see how good it does into everything else. Is it only good against Raging Bolt, or can this be something that has a prolonged stay in the metagame? So if you don't want to miss video 2, where I go over some of my counter picks that I suggested, make sure to follow, and I'll see you in that video. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm out. Peace.